Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant Chess. Today we are at the fifth and the last chapter of the crash course in pawn endgame, and we have got the case of rook pawn today. So we are going to discuss three positions and let us see what are the features or characteristics of a rook pawn. This is the first position here. It's white to play and white is trying to win the game. Usually with a passed pawn the technique is simple. The passed pawn has to be given up and the king goes towards the other pawns and win the game easily. But here see, because the other pawn is a rook pawn, somewhat precision is required. See, white cannot afford to play the move like king h5. You will see why. The main theoretical point is whenever king takes this a6, by that time if the black king manages to reach c8, c7 or c6, any of the squares, the game can become drawn. Even with the king on b6, if king is on c8, we will consider that position as drawn. There is only one exception, kb6, kc8, if the pawn can reach a7, that is the only and only case with king on c8 where the position is lost. That is when we are talking about only one rook pawn and the king. So here white has to win with the only move a5, its precise one. So now what happens, the king will have to go back, king g8 or h8, and here white can do kg6, but direct kf6 is slightly better, kh7, and let's see now, ke6, kh6, kd6, kg6, ke6, kf6, kb6, ke6, king takes a6, kd7, and timely white gets the move kb7, and see, the king cannot come to stop the pawn. Even if the king would have come from behind, then also a6, a7 would have winned. So with white to play, the precise move a5 leads to win. Let's discuss what would happen if it was black to play. With black on the move, black would immediately play a5. The point is that now the king will have to go to a5, which is bit behind, and this makes all the difference. See, after kh5, very true, black will lose the move, but after king h8, kg6, kg8, now when the king starts going to f6, we see after kh7, ke5, king takes h6, kd5, kg6, kc5, kf6, kb5, king e6, the king is heading to c8, king takes a5, kd7, and after kb6, white is one move short, king comes to c8, and he didn't get the move kb7. Here only the move a7 would have won for white, but that's not possible. So after a5 it will be kb8, and after ka7, kc7, black just keeps on playing kc7, kc8. Just for the sake of knowledge, I must tell you, even with the position on king a7 and a5, the move kc6, remember this knight's distance, this can be a very important technique. Let's say if the black king was on d5, then also with kc6, this is the only way to hold this position and it could be drawn. So these are the important theoretical positions that one should try to remember. Let's go to the next one now, which is again slightly different from the previous one. The black g pawn is weak and black king is heading to g4 to attack these h5 and the h4 pawns. Here it looks like white can win in couple of ways. King f5 is good enough, but there is the move king g3. When we see that king f5, king g3, kg6, king takes h4, and it's a drawn game. Similarly, kg5 also allows king h3. This also looks like a drawn position. Secondly, many white players feel that after h6, g takes h6, king f5, the position is winning, because after kg3, h5, kh4, there is kg6. When the h6 pawn is taken and white once again wins, king cannot reach on f6. But incidentally in this position, like the previous one, black again puts the pawn on the 5th rank, that is his 4th rank, and now after kg5, there comes ke4, and after king takes h5, king f5, we get the position with an opposition and the rook pawn is way behind. With no other pawn on the board, it's a drawn position. So what remains for white is king f5. This happens to be the right move, and now see black gets caught up because white is trying to mix two ideas here. If k e3, then simply kg6. So kg3 forced as we discussed, but now after forcing the king to g3, white goes h6, forcing d, g takes h6, and now see h5. And suddenly see the black king remains behind only. Even if king f3, then kg6, kf4, king h6, kf5, the king was required on f6, but after kg7, kg5, h6, white wins. And as we have discussed several times, going behind never helps. kh4, kg6, kg4, king h6. Here also king only makes it to the f5 square, and after kg7, kg5, h6, once again black loses. Let's look at the last position now. So now we have the final position of the chapter and also the course. Here we see double rook pawns, how they create a barrier. The position looks very easy at first, but try to calculate fully. It's a very interesting one. White has to play the only move a5. There is no choice. Otherwise, simply king c5, king b4 takes pawn, and the a2 pawn would be traded for the c6 pawn. It would be drawn. So a5 forced. Now king c5 is the only move, since after c5, a6, c4, a7, c3, 8, queen c2, the queen can simply stop the pawn. Even later on queen can be given on c1 and the a pawn would win. After a5, king c5 forced, and now white goes a4. Very important move. The a pawns cover both b5 and the b6 square. Now means kb4 loses to a6 instantly. But here black has the only correct move, kd6. This move should not be missed. It's an important move now. Now if st a6, then black ends up winning the game after kc7. Now suddenly the white king is not in the square of the black pawn, and the black king is going to manage these pawns. After a5, there simply comes king b8. Even the move c5 should win for black. So white has to play kd8. Now it looks like black goes c5. Now the threat is king c6, and the pawn is winning in 4 moves. So a6 forced, kc6, and now once again a5. The pawns are acting very nicely. See, the double rook pawns are controlling the square where the black king wants to come. Only move c4, again the pawn is winning in 3 moves. a7 once again loses to kb7. White has king c8, c3, a7, c2, but black is unable to queen because 8 queen comes with a check, and the queen can easily control the advance of the c pawn from h1 or maybe even from the c file later on. So white wins. So with these positions, I tried to show different characteristics of the rook pawn. I hope you found the lesson very interesting. Do let me know how you found the course overall in the comments below. Thanks for your time.